Hello. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Oh, welcome everybody. And uh, okay. This is the fourth day of this book. Yesterday there are only four videos, and I should work hard. Mm, previous episode we learned some new words. Okay, let's okay. Substantiate. Let's review the words of the previous episode. The first one is enormous. 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 Okay, enormous. Huge. Enormous. Huge. Tremendous. Tremendous. Immense. Immense. Gigantic. Gigantic. Enormous. Access. Access. Don't access. Assess. Evaluate. Evaluate. Assess. Catalyst. 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 Junk. 垃圾 Junk. 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 啊 Oh. Sailboat. Yacht. Sailing boat. Oh, junk. Junk. Refuse. Trash. Garbage. Scrap. 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 Okay. This is junk. Dismal record. 糟糕的记录 Dismal. 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 我有一个 L， 我有个 L。Dismal. Dismal. 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 Okay. Significant. Significant. Oh, significant. 注意在这儿 significant. Significant. Okay. Hapless victims. Hapless victim. Hapless victim. Another one. Abolish. 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 这个音对不对？是不是这个音 ？Father. Abolish. 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 天呐，发音是 abolish. 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 Okay. Abolish. Abolish. Repel. Abolish. Abrogate. Revoke. Do away with. resign, cancel, abolish, follow, appeal, abolished, supreme, supreme, surprise, supreme, surprise, supreme, okay. Supreme, fiction, okay. Fiction, normal, normal, novel, okay. Coherent, okay. Discern,像discern, discernible, okay, discernible. Casual, random, careless, casual, okay, casual, okay. Harmless victims. There are 7 discernible. There are 7 discernible threads that are woven throughout the fabric of this study. They present the reason for abolition of the Federal Reserve System when stated in their purest form without embellishment and explanation. They sound absurd to the casual observer. This one, absurd. They sound absurd to the absurd, fantastic, incredible, absurd, 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 okay, absurd to casual observer. This is the purpose of this book cover, to show that these statements are all too easy to substantiate. Substantiate the Federal Reserve should be abolished for the following reasons. Okay, the bad news is very detailed. The bad news is that every detail of what follows true. Okay. Okay. The next paragraph, acknowledgement. Okay. A writer who steals the work of another is called a plagiarist.剽窃人 抄袭 plagiarist. Okay, plagiarist. One who takes from the workers of many is called a researcher. One who takes from the workers of many is researcher. That is roundabout way. That is roundabout. We will say I'm deeply indebted to the efforts of so many who have previously grappled this topic. Okay. Grapple, 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 grapple. Go grapple. Roundabout, roundabout, roundabout. That's this roundabout way of saying I'm deeply indebted to the effort, indebted, 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 appreciate, indebted. I'm deeply indebted to the efforts of so many who have previously grappled this topic. It is impossible to acknowledge them except in footnotes or via by blography, without the cumulative product of their efforts, it would have taken a lifetime to pull together the material you are about to read. 感激一下之前的作者，这个作者挺幽默的啊。A writer who steals the work of another is called plagiarist. One who takes from the workers of many is called researcher. Okay. The writer is a researcher. In addition to the historical facts, however, there are numerous concepts which, to the best of my knowledge, are not to be found in prior literature. In addition to these historical facts, are not to be found in prior literature. 当前主流的历史是发现不了的这个东西，是吗？然而，除了历史之外，还有许多概念几乎是文献中没有发现、没有出现过。Prior literature, prior literature, prior 现有文献或现存。Primary among these are the formulation of certain natural laws, which, it seemed to me, were too important to leave buried beneath the factual date, beneath, underneath， 这都是文艺词，这是文学词，书面语嘛，beneath。Okay, from among the formulas centered in natural laws which seem to beneath the factual 都是基于下面的事实数据。Primary among these are the formulation of central natural laws which is simply too important to leave buried beneath them. 最主要的自然规则来这方面太重要，不能让它们埋没在事实数据之下。Or too important to leave buried beneath the factual date. Primary among these are primary 首要 first First among these primary among these first of all， 这是一个文学表达。First of all, the formulation of certain natural law, formulation form, formulator function， 这些规则，自然规则、自然法则构建的相关规则。首先，主要的是自然法则规则的构建 formulation，OK， is too important to leave buried beneath the factual data. Okay. Wow. 暗示这些法则隐藏在大量事实信息中，需要被挖掘和提示。复杂数据中提炼出核心规律。Primary among these are the formulation of certain natural laws that, in my view, seem to me, are critical for understanding the underlying principle. Understanding the underlying principle. Underlying principle 基本原则。The study highlights the formulation of natural laws that were previously hidden beneath factual data, now brought to the forefront for analysis. 非常适合用在研究或分析类的文本中，果然是书面表达。You will easily recognize these and other editorial expressions as the singular products, as the singular product of my own perception, my own perception, for which no one else can be held responsible. Signal product of mine as the singular products. You will easily recognize this and other editorial express. 这些很容易认识这些个人独特的观点。Singular product 独一无二的。Significant singular. My own perception. Singular 独一无二的。Significant. Singular perception. Singular product. 独特的，独一无二的。Singular production. Singular 单数。Single singular okay. Singular product of my own perceptions perception 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 consistent feeling like feeling sensitive feel sensitive and sensitive so now consciousness consistent perception, my perception. Okay. This is my perception. My own perceptions, for which no one else can be held responsible. 而对此没有其他任何人需要负责。是强调完全出于个人产物，其他人不需要对人表达出独立的态度和观点的。OK， 观点是个人上 OK。You will easily recognize this and other editor expressions are the single products of my own perception, reflecting my unique perception. 这个也常用 perspective. My own perception, perception, perspect. Perspective, perspective, perspective. I would like to give special thanks to various career. Okay. And Jim Top. So the areas closer to this precise location. This guy. Financial advice. Okay. This guy. Is an Edward Jones financial advisor serving and get personal financial advice you need to achieve your goals. Okay. Well, having first invited me to give a lecture on this subject and thus forcing me to delve into it at some depths and to help Jonier for encouraging me after the speech to take it on the road, take it on the road, take it on the road， 开始干吧，是吧 ？Take it on the road， 带到路上。哦 ，take it on the road， 行。You prepare everything. Take it on the road， 开始行动吧。出发，开始。Okay, delve into it and delve into at some depths. Forcing me delve into. 迫使我深入 force me delve into down, delve into, down, down，就这个 develop, delve into, delve into, delve into it. Okay, delve into it. Add some, delve into it, add some, delve into it, add some depths, delve into it, some depths. 同时我深入研究它。Okay, take it on the road. This book is the end result of a 7-year journey that began with those first steps. Good. Deserves a special medal for his financial support to get the project started, and for his incredible patience while it crowd toward completion. Okay, crowd to completion. Crowd 缓慢前进 ，crowd 爬行 ，crowd crowd 是真的是记不住，真的是记不住。crawl crawl 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 是不是 crawl 是这个哦 caught crawl crawl 是这个 okay crawl while it crawled toward completion. Thanks to for providing copies of numerous hard to locate documentation. Thanks also to Linda and for keeping my business enterprises functioning during my preoccupation with this project. Preoccupation 被占了 preoccupation 全神贯注哇 preoccupation 全神贯注的投入这 preoccupation and a very personal thanks to my wife for putting up with my periods of a long absence while completing the manuscript. Putting up with periods for long absence. For putting my periods of long absence. Thank you for putting up with my periods of long absence while I was working on this project. I truly appreciate your understanding and patience for putting up with my period of long putting up with my periods of long absence during the past year. Putting up with my period of long absence. 这个挺好的。正式场合致谢。Putting up with my period of long absence. Putting up with my periods of long absence while completing the for meticulous through reading and for a most perspective, critical, critic, critic of its development among the way perspective, for most perspective 看法 perspective 敏锐的 perceptive perceptive perception 观察 perceptive perception perspective perceptive percept 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 most perceptive called critical most perceptive most perceptive 独到的见解 most a most perspective critic of its development among 在过程中，在过程中一种非常敏锐深刻的面对个人见解。The author provides the most perspective critic of its development along the way, highlighting key strengths and weaknesses. Her insights offer the most perspective critic of its development along the way, which greatly improve the final outcomes. 学术和专业品质都是专业都是学术领域的。Most perspective critic 独立的见解 critic design. Finally, I would like to acknowledge those readers of the first three printings who have assisted in the refinement of this work. Because of their efforts, most of the inevitable errors have been corrected. Inevitable 小的不可避免的 inevitable 这个词单词记不住，很难记住 inevitable 微小的不可避免 inevitable have been corrected for the second edition. Even so, it would be foolhardy to think that there are no more errors within the following pages. I have tried to be meticulous with even some small details, but one cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds. Oh, 这个词挺好 ，meticulous meticulous, meticulous, careful, considerable, fine and closely wove，细密的，精细的，是吧？Even smallest detail, but one cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds。天哪，不可能收获不生啊！No one cannot harvest such a huge without dropping a few seeds。这应该是常用词吧？But one cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds。但人们在无法收获都落下，但人们无法在收获如此巨大庄稼时不落。Huge crops without dropping a few seeds。在追求巨大成果过程中，不可避免有复杂的后果，这是一种坦然接受不完全的代价。复杂目标是追求。We made great progress on the project, but we cannot have such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds。难免一些疏漏。哦，天哪，天哪，天哪，天哪，天哪，这就是一个 One cannot have such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds。天哪，perfection is impossible. Perfection is impossible when pursuing some grand. One can one cannot have such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds. Dropping a few seeds, dropping a few seeds, dropping a few seeds, dropping a few seeds. Wow，这个可以啊，这个可以读一读，这可以读一读。OK，Hello, are you there? Hi, are you there? I want you to be an English teacher for me, and I'll give you a sentence. Can you read it for me? Okay, I will follow you. Can you correct me? Perfection is impossible when pursuing some grand. One cannot have such a. Yes, I will read the sentence. Can you correct me? Perfection is impossible. Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds. Yes, I won't read this sentence. And then you correct me, okay? Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few seeds. Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such huge crop without dropping a few feet. Okay. Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few feet. Perfection is impossible for pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few feet. Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few feet. Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such huge crop without dropping a few feet. Perfection is impossible when pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few feet. Perfection is impossible in pursuing something grand. One cannot harvest such a huge crop without dropping a few feet. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Enough. Therefore, correction and suggestions from new readers are sincerely invited. In my supreme optimism, supreme optimism, I would like to think that they will be incorporated into the future editions of this book. I think that they will be incorporated into in my supreme optimism. 怀着无比的乐观 I would like to think that they will be incorporated, incorporated, incorporated tradition, incorporated. In my supreme optimism, in my super supreme. In my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback we receive will be incorporated into the next edition of our project report. In my supreme optimism, I believe that these ideas will be eventually be incorporated into the future editions of this book. Oh, 嗯，可以啊，这 In my supreme in my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback we receive the feedback we receive the feedback we receive we receive we receive the feedback we receive the feedback we receive will be incorporated into the next edition of our project report. We received 天呐，这个 好了，听听他们怎么读。Hello, are you there? I want you to read the sentence for me, okay? I won't follow you, and you can correct me, okay? In my supreme optimism, I would like to think that. Wait for me. I will read the sentence, okay? In my supreme, in my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback, the feedback we received will be incorporated into the next edition of our project report. Yeah, I will read it. I will read it. Can you read the sentence? And I will follow you, and then you can correct my pronunciation. Okay? Yeah. Very supreme. Okay. In my supreme optimism, I would like to think that. Wait for me, okay? Just wait. I will read all the sentence, okay? Okay, I'm ready. Just listen and correct me, okay? In my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback received will be incorporated into the next edition of our project report. In my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback we re- the feedback we received will be incorporated into the next edition of our projected report. In my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback we received will be incorporated into the next edition of our project report. In my supreme optimism, in my supreme optimism, 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 in my supreme optimism, I would like to think that the feedback we received will incorporate it into the next edition of our project report. No, thank you. Okay. The following introduction. The following exchange will published in the British humor magazine Punch. Okay, it is reprinted here as an appropriate introduction, as a mental exercise to limber the man for material contained in this book. My God. The foreign exchange will be published into the British humor magazine's Punch. Okay, it is reprinted as an appropriate mentor content limber to limber the man okay, limber the man. The author's earlier article is reprinted here as an appropriate introduction and as a mental exercise to limber the man for discussions to follow. Chapter is reprinted here as an introduction to the subject matter, and as mental exercise to limber the man for the complete theories presented in the rest of the book. Oh my god, 不好读啊。Appropriate perception, perceptive, perspective, appropriate, no, perception, perceptive, okay. Perceptive, perception, perspective, appropriate, perceptive, perceptive, Okay. What are banks for? Answer: to make money. What are banks? What are banks for? Make money. For the customers? For the bankers? Why doesn't bank advertising mention this? It would not be in good taste, but it is mentioned by implication in reference to reserves of all bonds, thereabouts, or thereabouts, or thereabouts. This is the money that they have made. Out of the customers? Yes, I suppose so. They are also mentioned as thirds of or thereabouts. How they made that too? Not exactly. This is the money they use to make money. This is the money they use to make money. I see, and they keep it in a safe somewhere. Not at all. They lend it to customers. Then they haven't got it. No. Then how is it assessed? They maintain that it would be if they got it back. But they must have some money in safe somewhere. Yes, usually this is called liability liabilities 准备金负债 liabilities 亏空 deficit debt shortage liability liabilities. Okay, liabilities 负债。But if they got it, how can they be liable for it? Liability， 天，这个词是这样的 liability。Okay, liability. Because it isn't there. How can they liable for it? Liable because it isn't there. Then why do they have it? It has been lent to them by customers. You mean customers lend banks money? Yes, in fact. No, in fact, they put money into their accounts. So it's really lent to the banks. And what do the banks do with it? Lend to other customers. But you said that the money they lend to other people as assets? Yes. Then assets and liabilities must be the same thing. You can't really say that, but you just said it. If I put 100 into my account, the bank is a liability to have to pay the bank, so it's a liability. But they go and lend it to someone else, and he's liable to have to pay the bank. So it's assets. It's the same 100, isn't it? Yes, but then it cancels out. It cancels out. It means does it? It means doesn't that the bank have really any money at all? Theoretically 是的，理论上是这样。Theoretically 理论上是这样。Never mind theoretically. And if they haven't any money, where do they get their reserves of? Oh, I told you, that's the money they have made. How? Well, when they lend your 100 to someone, they charge him interest. They charge him interest. How much? It depends on the bank rates. Say 5.5%. That's their profit. Why isn't my profit? Isn't it my money? It's the theory of banking practice that practice 这个单词是这单词之前记 practice exercise practice. When I lend them my 100, why don't I charge them interest? You do. You don't say how much. It depends on the bank's rate. Say half a percent. Grabbing on me, rather. Grasping me. But that's only if you are not going to draw the money out again. But of course I'm going to draw it out again. If I hadn't wanted to draw it out again, I could have buried it in the garden, couldn't I? They wouldn't like you to draw it out again. Why not? If I keep it there, it says liability. Wouldn't they be glad if I reduced their liability by removing it? No, because if you remove it, you can't lend it to anyone else. But if I wanted to remove it, they'd have to let me. Certainly. But suppose they've already lent it to another customer. Then they'll let you have someone else's money. But suppose he wants his too. But they let me have it. You are being purposed, observe, ob, 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 obt, ob, obtuse, 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 obtuse. You are being purposely obtuse. 你是不是搞糊涂？你故意装糊涂。Purpose obtuse, obtuse, obtuse. Purpose obtuse. 你是不是装糊涂？你是不是装傻？It's been obtuse. It's been purposely obtuse about this situation. Avoiding any real discussion. Stop being purposely obtuse and answer the question clearly. Okay, you're being purposely obtuse. Obtuse, obtuse. obtuse. oo 上面两个杠 oo 上面两个杠took, should, 单个目哟 will, oh my god,什么两个杠就发长音的，我就发这个音obtuse, obtuse, 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 right? obtuse, right? 上面一个杠 obtuse, 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 okay, obtuse, not you, obtuse, 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 obtuse. You are being purposely obtuse. I think I've been acute. Acute. What if everyone wanted their money at once? It's the theory of banking practice that they never would. So what banks bank on it? Bank on what banks bank on? What banks bank on is not having me their commitment. I wouldn't say that. Naturally, well, if there's nothing else you think you can tell me, quite so. Now you can go off and open a banking account. Just one last question, of course. Wouldn't I do better to go off and open up a bank? Wouldn't better to go off and open up a bank, go off? 我为啥不去开个银行呢？想明白了。Section 1. What creature is this? Okay, this is section 1. Okay, no, here. Okay, 1 minute, 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour. Here, section 1. Let's go to the tables of contents. What creature is this? What is the Federal Reserve? What is the Federal Reserve System? What is the Federal Reserve System? The answer may surprise you. It's not federal and there are no reserves. Furthermore, the Federal Reserve are not even banks. The key to this riddle is to be found. Not at the beginning of the story, but in the middle. Since this is not a textbook, we are not confined a chronological structure. The subject matter. The subject matter is not a curriculum to be mastered, but a mystery to be solved. So let us start where the action is. The key to this reader is to be found. Reader. Key to this reader. Meaty. Reader. Key to this reader is to be found in the patterns of the numbers. The key to the reader is to be found in the way we approach the problem. Since this is not, we are not confined to a pressure structure. Chronological structure. 局限于 confined 局限于我们这个单词是不是记过？没记过，没有记过。confined chronological structure. 这指某个组织安排仅仅按照，而没有按照其他结构。OK， 所以这本书没有按照时间结构。Why not confined to a chronological structure? The subject matter is not a concurrent. Curriculum 课程 curriculum 这个单词也没有记，是不是 curriculum OK curriculum master but a mystery to be solved but a mystery result. So let us start where the action is. Chapter 1, Section 1. What is the Federal Reserve? So let's start with the action. Okay, this is Section 1. Okay, Chapter 1. Okay, tomorrow we'll read the Chapter 1. So let's repeat. Okay, where does the money come from? 这是作者提出的一个问题。然后呢 ，How to read the book？ 对，我们读这本书呢 ，trick books can be intimidate. We tend to put up. Fake books can be intimidate. OK, intimidate. 还有这个单词应该是没有记是 intimidate。你是不是吓唬人 ？intimidate，恐吓 OK，intimidate。这个经常用 intimidate， 是不是恐吓我的犯人 ？You are intimidating my customer. Do you intimidate? Do you intimidate my customer? We tend to put off reading them until we have a suitable large block of time, which is to say, often they are never read. 有足够的时间 That is the reason preview has been placed at the beginning and a summary at the end of each chapter. All of this together can be read in about 1 hour, although They will not contain details nor documentations. They will cover the major points and will provide an overview of the complete story. The best way to read this book, therefore, is to begin with previews of each section, followed by the chapter previews and the summaries. Even if the reader is not too in a hurry, it is still an excellent approach. Still be still is the, this is the this is still an excellent approach. Look at this map. Look at the map before the journey makes it easier to grapple with topics such as this, which spans to much history, so much history. OK， 这就是说，这个是 how to read this book. Okay, then we read the table contents. Okay, and the preface. Okay, I'll read the preface again. Does the world really need another book on the Federal Reserve system? I have struggled with that question for several years. My own library is mute testimony to the fact that there has been no shortage of writers willing to set out into the dark forest to do battle with the evil dragon. But for the most part, their books have been ignored by the mainstream, and against Snorter remains undaunted in his lyre. There seemed to be little reason to think that I could succeed where so many others have failed. But for the most part, their books have been ignored by the mainstream, and again, Snorter remains undaunted in his lyre. 这个是啥意思来着？忘了。Against Snorter remains un, 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 against Snorter remains undaunted in their lyres. Against Snorter 怪物。Okay. In his lyre 巢穴。天哪，这个记不住。Lyre. Okay. There seemed to be little reason to think that I could succeed, whereas so many others have failed. Okay, yes, the idea was hunting. The idea was hunting， 不停的 hunting， 不停的动啊动。That was hunting. There was no doubt in my mind that the Federal Reserve is one of the most dangerous creatures, even to stalk our land, ever to stalk our land. 这样生在 stalk to our land. 悄无声息的 stalk our land. Furthermore, as my probing brought me into contact with more and more hard dates, I came to realize that I was investigating one of the greatest whodunit of history. Whodunit 这个怎么说来着 ？Whodunit 谁干啊 ？Whodunit谁干的？ the great whodunit of history. And to make matters worse, I discovered who did it. I discovered who did. Okay, make matters worse. Someone has to get this story through the public. The problem, however, is that the public does not want to hear it. After all, this is bad news, and we certainly get enough of that as it is. Another obstacle, another obstacle, obstacle. Okay. Another obstacle 障碍 to communication is that the tale truly is incredible. OK，另一个障碍是 the story is truly incredible, which means unbelievable. The magnitude by which reality divides from the accepted myth is so great that for most people it's simply beyond the credibility. Anyone carrying this message is immediately suspended of papronia, which we listen to a madman. Papronia, instead of papronia, 偏执 suspect to papronia. Okay, and finally, this is the subject matter itself. This is the subject matter. There is, and finally, there is the subject matter itself. 这个主题本身 I can become pretty complex. Well, at least that's how it seems at first. Treatises, treatises, treatises on this topic often read like curriculum textbook. 当做论文来读 curriculum textbook for banking and financial. It is easy to become ensnared in the sticky web terminology and abstractions. Only monetary professionals are motivated to master the new language, and even they often find themselves in serious disagreements. For example, in a recent letter circulated by a group of monetary researchers who, for years, have conducted an ongoing exchange of ideas regarding monetary reform, the editor said it is frustrating that we cannot find more agreement among ourselves on the visa issue. We seem to differ so much on definitions and on really and unbiased, frankly, also just how our current monetary system does function. 天呐 It's frustrating that we cannot find more agreement among ourselves on this vital issue. Vital, vital, vital issue. Vital issue on this vital issue. It is frustrating that we cannot find more agreement among ourselves on vital issue. Okay. We seem to differ so much on definition and on really an embracing frank, honest, correct understanding of just how our current monetary system does function. So why am I making our making my own charge into the dragon's teeth, making my own charge into the. It's because I believe there is a definite change, definite, definite 显著的 definite change in the wind of public attitude. As gathering economic storm draws nearer, more and more people will tune into the weather report, even if it is bad news. Furthermore, the evidence of the truth of the story is now overpowering that I trust my readers will have no choice but to accept it. All questions and Senate aside. All questions of sanity aside. If the village idiot says the bear has fallen from the stable and comes jogging the bear behind him, well, okay. Lastly, I have discovered that this subject is not as complicated as it first appeared to be, and I am resolved to avoid the pitfall of treading the usual conclusion path. I'm resolved to avoid the pitfall of treading unusual convoluted path. What follows, therefore, will be the story of crime, not the cause of criminology. And it was intended that the book would be half its present size and be completed in about 1 year. From the beginning, however, it took on a life force of its own, and I became but a servant to its will. It refused to stay within the prescribed, and like the genie released from the bottle, grew to enormous size. When the job was done, and it was possible to assess the entire manufacture, 形成 assess 形成什么？这单词记不住。The entire manufacture. When the job was done and it was possible to assess the entire manuscript, I was surprised to realize that the 4 books had been written instead of 1. 当完成再来评估整个 assess 整个手稿的时候，发现这是4本书。First is such clause on money, the basics of banking and currency. Without that, it would be impossible to understand the fraud that now passes to acceptable practice within the banking system. Okay, the second there's a book on how the world's central banks, the Federal Reserve being one of them, are catalysts for war. Okay, catalysts for war. That is what puts real fire into the subject, because it shows that we are dealing not with mere money, but with blood, human suffering, and by dealing freedom itself. Third, there's a history of central banking in America that is essentially to realization that the concept behind the Federal Reserve was tried 3 times before in America. We need to know that, and especially need to know why those institutions were eventually junked, 垃圾被撇掉。Why those institutions were eventually junked. Finally, there's analysis of the Federal Reserve itself and its decimal record since 1913. This is probably the least important part of all, but it is the reason we are here. is the least important not because the subject lacks significance, but because it has been written before by writers far more qualified and more skilled than I. As mentioned previously, however, those volumes generally have remained except by technical historians, and the creature has continued to dine upon its happiness victors, and the creature has continued to dine upon its hapless victim，代表旁捕猎 dine upon 是不是？对吧 ？dine up 还在吃这些，还在猎食这些无辜的受害者，无辜的不是无辜的，是不幸的、倒霉的啊，就是无辜的。There are 7 discernible threat, discernible 相关的 discernible 啊，可辨别 discern distinct distinguish discern recognize discern seven threat that woven throughout the fabric of the study. They represent the reasons for abolishment of the Federal Reserve System. They represent the reasons for abolition of Federal Reserve System, when stated in their purest form without embellish and explanation, they sound absurd to its casual observer. Absurd, 奇怪 absurd, 荒诞奇怪 absurd to its observer. It is the purpose of this book, however, to show that these statements are all too easy to substantiate. OK， 可证实的 to substantiate. It's a verb. The Federal Reserve System should be abolished for the following reasons. There are 7 discernible threats. Discernible, 无可辩驳的。It is incapable of accomplishing its stated objectives. Okay, chapter 1. It is operating against the public interest. Chapter 3. It is the supreme instrument of usury. It generates our most unfair tax. It encourages war. It destabilizes destabilized destabilize the economy. It is an instrument of totalitarianism. Totalitarianism, 极端主义、极权主义 totalitarianism. This is the story about limitless money and hidden global power. The good news is that this is fascinating as any work of fiction could be, and this, I trust, will add both pleasure and excitement to the learning process. Bad news is that every detail of what follows is true. Okay, this is the preface, then acknowledgement. Today we read the acknowledgement. Okay, you can find I can read it smoothly. Okay, thank you everybody. Okay, today let's wrap up today. Let's wrap up it today. Bye bye. See you next time.